Hello.
Hello.
So today is our first interview, and it will be about IGCSE. That's probably the most stressful exam for 10th graders,
Sure.
and 9th graders are also preparing for it. And I guess it will be very important and very useful for them to watch this video. Yeah.
I hope so, and I hope 9th graders are really preparing.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, what is IGCSE?
IGCSE is first of all, Cambridge product. It is an exam. It stands for International General Certificate of Secondary Education. So, general education, that means overall school studies, school syllabus you have completed, and this is proof of that, actually. And we have GCSE in England. They're identical in terms of equivalent, they're equivalent to each other. And there are a lot of overlapping curriculum items in the syllabus. But there's a rumor that IGCSE is harder than GCSE. Yeah.
Probably because of Asian people.
Probably. You know, there's actually, in England, there are some schools that don't do GCSE but do IGCSE instead. Even in England.
But what is the main difference, in fact, between IGCSE and GCSE? Like
the difference, what I know, there isn't much difference. IGCSE was introduced around 30 years ago, and there are exam boards in England, like it's Edexcel, Cambridge, Oxford, main three, and they organize all the exams. They give you, they're called actually awarding bodies. They give you marks, and it's all recognized exam boards. And these three organizations, they decided to, allow other international students to, use benefits of IGCSE. I mean GCSE, and they introduced IGCSE. Yeah.
Now that we know what's IGCSE, why do we need it?
Yeah, it's a good question. Let me talk from perspective of our students.
Yeah.
Our students, you will finish 10th grade. Then, after you, let's say you study in the school and you receive marks from Kazakhstani attestat.
Yeah.
Okay, and this proves that you have studied, finished school in Kazakhstan, right? But we are Cambridge school. What paper do you have to prove that you have studied in Cambridge school? That is one thing. When you take IGCSE, that proves that you have studied in an international school. Secondly, it's recognized globally. You can Google this up. There are a lot of universities, colleges mainly, that recognize IGCSE. And IGCSEs will take you to colleges, to foundations, mostly. And, some employers give job, they will recognize your qualities if you finish IGCSE.
So both jobs, colleges, they give credit to IGCSE?
They recognize it, but they don't give credit because it's general secondary education.
So
maybe we can talk about, when we talk about A-levels, maybe in future, A-levels, they will give you credits. And they will make you maybe pass some courses without taking them at university because it's deeper. G in the IGCSE stands for General Secondary Education. That means, more or less, there are some understanding in all countries that what an educated person should know by age of 16, and this proves that you have studied all these things. It's useful, it's definitely useful, it's not an unuseful thing. For example, English, some people will, not many, but few people ask me if they need to take IELTS after IGCSE. Because if you think logically, you have studied in international school, all lessons are in English, and also you need to prove that you know English by taking IELTS. Maybe it's not so logical. Right? So it's not logical. So on the Cambridge website, there is a letter to all universities that says if a student takes C from IGCSE English, that means his level is B2. If his level is more than C, his grade is more than C, that means he's capable to study at university without any like extra preparation in terms of language. So this also, like, you can skip IELTS maybe, but of course all these details, because universities' requirements differ, you need to confirm at university. But for example, it will save you from taking IELTS. If you know which university you're going already, you can ask them.
Okay. When is IGCSE taken?
Yeah, IGCSEs are usually taken in 2 seasons. It's June series and October series. I can talk about the timeline. Generally, students start to prepare for IGCSE at grade 9, 10 in our school.
Yeah.
But it's actually year 10, year 11 in England. So that means if you're in grade 10 now, you're the same student of your age in England will be studying in year 11. So the best thing is to start preparing from year 10, and generally, like, in our school take it in May, and students need to be registered in February. And the series is called June series, but the exams are taken in May, and then results will come out in electronically in August. Then certificates will arrive in October.
It's what age you can take IGCSE? Not the grade, not the year, but what age is suitable?
There isn't really like, actually it says 14, 16 years, but if I think personally, if person is ready, they can take it. Yeah, but suggestion from Cambridge is 14, 16 years.
Okay. Is it that important when applying to university?
First, when people ask me which exam they should take, or if they need to take IGCSE, or if they need to take A-levels, the first question I ask them back is, what university are you going? Or which university, like the university that you're going, is it asking this from you? So the first question will be that. After that we can answer this. Yeah, that's simple. Yeah.
But in our school, for example, just as an example, many students, they don't even know where are they going to study and what are they going to study. Do you think they still have to take IGCSE?
Yeah, I think it
would be useful. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be definitely useful. And again, if you don't take IGCSE, then if you skip A-levels, you will only receive school diploma, which is designed by our school. Then you will receive attestat from government, only 2 things, and this diploma is, prepared by our school. Okay. Then second one, attestat is given by government, and there is no other proof that you have studied international school. How else are you going to prove it? You can say that I was registered in Galaxy, but it's one of the methods, Then, yeah, I understand that some students are, struggling. It may be hard for them or difficult for them to prepare, or maybe think about university life. But it's a question I always say, it's a question that needs to be answered as soon as possible.
That's my favorite question.
Yeah, without delaying, because the more you delay, the more, the bigger consequences are for you.
So, in fact, if you're studying in this school and you're paying 36 million for the whole period, it's better for you to take IGCSE and finish 12 grades, yeah?
I think, first thing, in international schools, the turnover of students is very high.
Yeah.
In all there's a lot of students come and go. But if a student that is, if there is a student that is from lower grades, from primary, and he has gone all the classes, that student, I think he will know the system more than others, and they will know that they need A-levels. And then I also understand there are some students that will not go to international universities. They will probably study in Kazakhstan, or they will go to universities that don't require IGCSE or A-levels, for example. So we can consider with those students options. But IGCSE for now in our school, maths and English is only compulsory. All other subjects they can take or they can skip. It's up to them. Yeah.
Okay, so in fact, we were given those documents, forms to fill, and to choose our IGCSE subjects. And it's been very stressful. And the problem is we're still choosing what subjects are we
Yes.
going to take
Yeah.
on the exam. And I just wanted to clarify how many subjects should we take to get the whole diploma of passing IGCSE?
You can take 2 lessons, one lesson. There is no actually like golden rule for all schools. It's just for our school English, like English and math is not only for our school, but for most schools it's most important 2 subjects.
So if you're...
And yeah, just in these 2 subjects. Then others, we chose these 2 subjects compulsory for our school.
And you get a diploma?
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah, but there's also ICE diploma, which is a big thing in England, and some European universities that will require IGCSEs. ICE diploma is when you take 7 subjects in IGCSE, and there are, of course...
And you fail them.
No, you don't fail them. And you don't necessarily need to take, get A from all of them. So if there might be some C's, some B's.
What if everything is C?
You can, there are, I think, 3 levels, like with merit, distinction, and pass. I think you'll get pass ICE diploma.
So if you get all C's, you still pass it and you get the diploma?
Yeah. But, this is like, this shows that you have abilities in many subjects, probably.
Even if you get C?
Yeah, but at least, At
least you know the basics.
That in some universities, especially, this is maybe from US, and some universities will adapting this, other non-US school universities, let's say. So the thing is, they have majors and minors when they choose profession. So major is your main diploma, that the main profession that you're studying, right? Then they will ask you to choose a minor, which could be related to your major, or it may be 100% different thing. For example, you might be a doctor, you might be let's say, oncologist, right? Then
your minor is dentist.
No, your minor will be, let's say, Chinese language, let's say. The more you mix your abilities, the more you, let's say, broaden your capabilities, maybe, the more interesting person you become. I think the idea of IC is that, but it's up to students.
But I guess it's more of a stress, no?
So we don't want to stress, definitely. So when choosing, to answer your question, how many lessons we should take, the best answer will be to weigh your capabilities, adequately.
You don't have to take 5 or 7 subjects.
Yes.
You can take English and math, and that's enough.
Yes, and also you don't need to believing in yourself is very important thing, but being just and adequate is also important. Talk to teachers, then look at your how you're doing in the past papers. If you are doing well, then of course you might have a chance to get good score. Yes.
Okay, since we're talking about grades, what are forecast grades and how do they work?
So forecast grades is a grade that teacher will give to student. He will give it secretly to exam officer, and they will submit it to Cambridge, and they will, let's say, for example, you'll take A from math, okay? And then you will not know it, but the teacher will tell you probably, Amirkhan, you're gonna get B, for example, to motivate you, maybe. Or maybe even it could be vice versa. He could be thinking that you'll get B, and he will tell you, if you work hard, you'll get A. But he because he teacher sees you a lot, he will know your behavior most of the time in the class, and they will judge you. And it's very important from teacher's perspective to judge correctly, not to over expect, estimate or underestimate. Because as a school, for me, later these statistics are collected and counted by Cambridge. So they will see this school expected 5 A stars this year, but nobody got A stars, but instead they got only A's. So this teacher is like overestimating his students. Then so it's not good, so good for school, but also underestimating the same. Now for the students, how does it work for you? All these Cambridge exams, and we know there's papers, different papers in maths, in English, and they're taken in different days. After the exam, we pack the exam, close the envelope, and we take the attendance, put it inside the envelope, and we send by post to England. All these exams will be marked by English people, probably.
British.
I mean, in England, British people. Or maybe overseas some examiners, assessors.
Asians and British people.
So it will be generally marked in England. So sometimes it may happen that one of these papers will be lost during this, I don't know. Courier companies now work well, but definitely they can't guarantee 100% successful, like, what do you call? Delivery, yeah. So it actually happened in one of the schools that worked. One of the students, his papers were lost. That means for physics, one paper was missing. It was before COVID, so Cambridge asked school if they sent. School confirmed it, and they sent this confirmation email from a courier company. We asked courier company to track it down. They couldn't find it. So for the marks, final mark, they gave like mark from one paper, second paper. For the third one, they used forecast grade from teacher.
Oh, I see.
And
So
they put average.
it's a prediction that can be used in case of loss of paper.
Yeah.
And
also
fact,
they used for statistics.
Statistics and in case lost case of a lost paper. Yeah? Okay.
But I can also add about timing. It's just as student's perspective from student, like they need to probably allocate more time to their studies. And after 8th grade, when most like curriculum is easier, of course, in checkpoints than IGCSE, and you need to become wiser and maybe become more accountable and autonomous. Accountable, you're responsible for your studies. Autonomous means like being able to study on your own sometimes.
So can I study for IGCSE without a teacher?
Yes, actually, again, it comes from how much you evaluate your abilities adequately. How adequate you are evaluating yourself. Actually, yes, if you devote time like 1 hour a day, probably, or half an hour at least to your studies, this 1 year for IGCSE, and thanks to internet, you can Google, you can learn about some things, you can watch some videos, and of course you can study on your own. But the best way is, of course, to
apply to Galaxy.
No, to study with a teacher.
Will prepare you for IGCSEs.
To study with a teacher. Then there are some lessons, of course, where we can't yet offer a lot of lessons, right, for IGCSE. So if some students are willing to take and they are sure that that these lessons will be used for the university application, then you can, I think, find some tutors online, because in England it's like very popular. You can find some tutors. They will also like maybe provide some forecast grade. Like if, for example, if you take, let's say, some subject that is not in our school, let's say economics, and for the forecast grade we just send X because we don't know what your capabilities are, because there's no teacher. So I think the best is to prepare with teacher, but you can.
You can do it yourself or get a teacher.
I really think like not about IGCSE, but generally I think anyone can do anything. But because we're all different, some people need to like put more time into studies. Some people need to they maybe spend like 2 weeks before the exam. It may seem like unfair, but you know, our capabilities are different,
Yeah.
and you know, being different there's I think beauty in it. Yes.
Okay, what can I bring to an IGCSE exam?
You can bring the best way to answer this is to look at the past paper from and the most recent exam. For example, if you are going to take it in June, just open November series, one past paper, and look at the front cover. Read it. It will say you can use black pen, blue pen, or let's say like pencil, etc. But I'd like to talk about calculators.
Yeah.
In IGCSE, you can bring calculator to any lesson unless it says don't use calculator. So you can bring calculators to your exams.
To history.
Yes. I don't know how you're going to use it. Now,
You better don't.
yeah. Of course, like if you use common sense, you're not going to bring. Now, for IGCSEs, no formulas are given. For A levels, because it's more different.
Excel and A levels, they give formulas.
Yeah, for A levels, they give formula. Like when you go to exam, I will give you all the formulas.
In fact, IGCSE, since we wrote some past papers, I noticed that they usually give formulas in the questions themselves.
Oh, okay.
They give the formula and they ask for the calculations, especially in math, physics, and stuff. But I suggest you guys to have a formula paper where you have everything, so you can later use it in IGCSE. No, I'm joking. don't do it.
Of course. You know, but about the cheating on exams, I definitely
Execution.
disallow cheating. I don't allow the students to cheat. If I catch, I'll definitely report you guys because I have done it in previous years.
You've been cheating.
I've been reporting because we are Cambridge School. We have responsibility. We are center, and if we're not going to be fair in our examinations, then there's danger that this authorization could be removed from our school, and we can no longer take exams. Our exam center is open center. That means we can test our students and people from outside. Mm-hmm. But there's another thing. It's like if I don't catch you, you can cheat as long as I don't catch you.
Yeah, but it's very hard to do it.
Yeah.
I know there was one teacher who said if you cheat, you do it properly.
Yeah.
You don't cheat like usual people do.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Yes.
Now, can you apply with only having IGCSE to a university?
I don't think so, personally, because
it would be.
No, because first of all, you need school completion diploma, like attestat, that's given at the end of 12th grade. But you can ask the university or college to tell them, like, if I submit to IGCSE, this means already, like in Cambridge curriculum, this means I completed general education. Do you accept me or not? Because for Kazakh people, definitely you need to have this attestat.
Yeah.
But for example, students, they're not Kazakhs and they're citizens of other countries. You just need to clarify from university. But universities, IGCSE probably will take you to foundation. You can't.
Foundation year?
Yeah. Because
but not all universities
yes,
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah. It's like it's recognized curriculum. It's very popular curriculum. If I was at university, I would definitely take students that completed IGCSE than some no-name curriculum. Yeah, or maybe there are a lot of curriculums in the world, like Chinese. I don't know. IB is popular.
Yeah, it's very
popular.
But
let's say there are 10 students. One came from China. One came from Senegal.
Chinese guy.
Then Brazilian, etc., etc. And it's very hard for me, to study all these curriculums and see what they're studying. What their syllabus are like. Then what their grading system is. But for me, it's easier to get IGCSE student because I know It's more familiar.
You recognize it, yeah. Okay. And so there's one more question about cheating. I know many of you wonder, can we buy an IGCSE diploma? Or here in school, for example, there are no people coming from Cambridge to be checking us while we're writing our exams, yeah? And everyone knows that people have their price, in fact. Can you pay a teacher to let you cheat on exam? And what if you get caught?
Okay, that's a very good question. First of all, I'd like to clarify that Cambridge, they published a timetable like in December, at least like 4 months or 5 months before the exam, and they know which exam going to take which day. And actually, there are people that travel. This was before COVID. That they will just come to your school. They will say, today you have 2 exams. We see that you entered 3 kids here and 6 kids here for this exam, and I will see this, how you're gonna organize this. And they will see, but before the exam they will go to we have a exam vault. Then when we keep exams, there's safe with 2 locks.
Second floor.
Iron safe, yeah. And the people, these people will come and see and take all the literally they will take all the papers and they will check these packets if they are not unsealed. Then they will go to the exam room and they'll see. Then they will measure if space between the desks is 125 centimeters.
This is so important.
Then they will they will see how it's going. Then they will talk with me or exams officer, and they'll say, how are we, they will ask about procedures, what we're doing.
Well, bring you a holy book.
The other thing is about teachers. If you are a math teacher, definitely you won't be assigned for math exam to supervise math exam. Then we will try to put teachers that don't have subjects like lessons in your class, for your class. About the price, of course, maybe some people are ready to buy or sell IGCSEs, but I'm not sure, and I don't know anyone in our school that is like that. I don't know.
Let's ask 12th graders.
Yes, but maybe Cara will do it. I don't know.
So let's suppose students get prepared and they literally they cheat on IGCSEs and you don't notice it. Does anyone get punished or it just stays the same?
Okay, that's a very good question. I have myself came up with this. I faced this problem when there's a teacher.
New method.
No, when there's a teacher in the classroom, there's IGCSE exam. Students take the exam, and generally you look and everybody's fine. There's not cheating, but when you probably in June or July, you'll receive a letter from Cambridge. They'll say, can you send us seating plan? This where students sat during the exam, because for each exam there's a seating plan that we complete. And I'll send the seating plan, not cheating plan, but seating plan, and they will say, okay, these 2 students sat closely, and we looked at their answers, and there are a lot of similar places. So please, they will ask for statement from the students and the teacher that is that was on the exam. If they think that evidence is not enough or the statements are not really genuine, they will not give you the students diploma marks for this subject, for this particular subject. But also this again danger for the exam center. They might remove our eligibility authorization to take the exam.
So if someone gets caught, it's a big problem both for school and students.
Yes. So definitely as a school, we don't want any trouble like that. And how they understand that there are a lot of similarities in the answers, and also because they use computers, both they check by people, like I think there's a video on Cambridge website. You can, if you want to look up, they explain how they mark the exams. I think two people check the exams. Then there's a supervisor that always controls this. If there are marks of these two people different, so the supervisor will check it again. Then after that, all these answers put into a computer, and computer will analyze. And then computer will say these two students have similarities in correct answers and incorrect answers.
So both.
Yeah.
That's where the problem begins.
Yes. So.
Okay.
And also, of course, there are I've met a case where a teacher was cheating. It was ICT exam.
Here in school?
Not the school,
okay.
But the case, not in our school, definitely. Mr. Muharrem is fine. Yeah.
He doesn't care about your exams. No worries.
So the teacher was he wasn't Kazakh. So what he did is he took the exam for students. There was exam officer, himself, and students. When they took the exam, finished it, teacher needs to collect all the students' answers into one flash drive and give it to exam officer. Exam officer will then upload to, there's a secure website that Cambridge will send us. Then you upload all the students' work there for ICT. So there was a problem. When students were doing, he needs to go around the class and check if everything is fine. But he managed to do the work himself in the classroom without exam officer not noticing this. Then he sent all the works, he copied and pasted these works as if students did it. So sometimes he wanted to differentiate the mistakes, but he made mistake, and two students got the same, he sent the same works for two students. And these students in the sitting plan, they were sitting really far. Unfortunately, that school had to fire the teacher, and these two students didn't receive grades. Because
of unsuccessful cheating?
Yeah. But students didn't have anything, it was unfair for them.
If you cheat, be a professional.
Yeah, don't cheat.
Cheat, be a professional.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the interview then.
Thank you, Amirhan. I hope you will invite me for other interviews, for A-levels or other topics.
Well, I'm not sure about A-levels because they don't interest me.
Okay, not yet.
Yeah, we'll have a new content on this YouTube channel. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.